What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another SLA video. Guys, looks like we have a brand new presence in the lobby. That's right. As a matter of fact, there are two presences. Now, before I talk about these presences, I do want to give a big shout out to everybody who actually sent me this in the video this morning. And you guys can see here's a couple other ones. I'm just going to pop them up. Here is the new character. We're going to talk about both of these characters very shortly. Shout out to George who sent me this one, I believe. Let me just double check. Here it is. That is the new character, Jung Yerim. There it is, of the Knights Guild. You guys can see that is not my account. That is someone else's account, but they sent me the picture, so both are there. So in fact, if you walk in here, you'll see the new Shadow Monarch, and he looks pretty badass. Everything that I've done so far was on a path laid out for me by the former Monarch of Shadows, and that is going to be the brand new free-to-play element successor, specifically dark successor, that we're getting. Now, before I go on with this video, guys, there are actively 2 codes right now available for anybody who is a supporter. If you're not already supporting, guys, hit that support button, get yourselves into the program. I'll be sending out the codes all morning, so everybody who has not gotten a code yet will get a code. The way to get your code, because it's a very common question, is you log into the exact same page here, go into the supporter section, and right underneath the section you'll see something called coupon history. All you got to do is copy the coupon and click it into the game and paste it, and you'll get all of the things that are there as coupons. So remember, it's 1 per account and it's 1 per season, and there's, I think, total of 5 or 6 coming this season. So 2 are available now. Make sure you hit that support button. Now, for this stuff here, guys, if you missed the live stream yesterday, we had a full discussion on everything that I thought was going to be happening with this Shadow Monarch. Now, a lot of people, I'm going to just talk about the question now. A lot of people have been asking, hey, Payne, because Myro is going to be gone for quite some time, I don't think indefinitely, but for quite some time, what do I do? Do I summon for her knowing that they'll be able to grind the free-to-play aspect of the Shadow Monarch, or do you wait and do it, do you wait and just save the tickets for the Shadow Monarch? Now, this is completely up to you, and I'm going to give you guys the good and the bad breakdown of both, okay? And I'll talk about the new character as well, because I think that's very important. Number 1, should you summon for Myro? It's up to you, and the reason why I say this is I personally summoned for her knowing that the last time I missed out on a character, it bit me in the ass. So I did it for the purpose of just having that character under my belt, and if they ever bring out a way to get the Myro versions of, any versions of Myro again, I thought it'd be safer just to have a copy. That's just my take on it. It's not based on any leaks or any type of knowing something that you guys don't. It's just my own thoughts. And the reason why I thought this is because here is a way to get characters. If you have 1 copy of them, you can advance them with this little token. In my head, I was like, you know what? What's stopping the devs from creating something similar like this for successors? And I instantly thought, when I went back to Freerin, I said, okay, it's a good thing I got a copy of Freerin, because now I can boost Freerin further if I want to through this. At least there's a way to do it versus not having a chance at all, right? So that's the reason why I went for Myro. Does she have any value as a free-to-play player or small spender at A0? Absolutely not. Where do you see the value for TP? A2 to A5, maxed out, right? So if you plan to get Myro, understand that you're only getting her for 2 reasons. Number 1, overdrive increase, if you ever decide to use her for that. She increases the overdrive timer. And number 2, again, just to have her for these kind of reasons, or maybe I guess a third reason, you like mommies and that's what you want to go for, right? So that's the other thing. But when it comes down to your tickets, like your actual summoning tickets for characters, the other successors, you will be able to use a 1-to-1 of these tickets right here, the legacy seals, towards the Shadow Monarch. So if you're somebody who's going to be using these seals toward the Shadow Monarch, you're probably going to be better off doing that, because you'll get more copies of the Shadow Monarch quicker, which means you'll be able to use that unit or successor version in the upcoming patch. Because keep in mind, the next patch is all dark, and they've stated this already, is going to be all dark and fire. So Myro has no place in the next patch. Literally nothing to do with the next patch at all, and you're not going to really have a need for her. So when it comes down to that, guys, it's up to you. Now, when it comes down to the free-to-play grind of it, yes, they did say everybody will be able to get the Shadow Successor, because obviously it's Sun Jinu and they want people to have access to it, which is fantastic. The problem with that is also keeping in mind that when they say you can get access to it, they never tell us how much of this character you can get. I think this is going to be a very, 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 very long grind. So please, in the back of your minds, guys, when you're thinking about this, don't think to yourself, hey, this is something I can max out instantly. This is something that's going to probably take us quite a bit of time to get maxed out and to have any form of use. So I wouldn't even imagine using the Shadow Monarch if you're starting from scratch this month. As free to play, I would imagine as a dolphin you can, obviously, because you'll spend a little bit. As a whale, you'll max him out right away. So you'll have full access to him at that point. But for us, free-to-play accounts versus my pay-to-win account, of course, I'll be able to test on the pay-to-win account, and I'll let you guys know how good he is. And then, of course, it'll draw people to either summon for him, pay for him, or just grind it out. And I think the grind is going to be a long one, guys, because I don't think they're planning to give this away at high capacity very early on. So keep that in mind and don't make it an expectation to have a maxed out version of the Shadow Monarch right away. All right, now that we got that out of the way, I hope that helps some people out. Number 2, Jung. Jung is going to be a brand new fire supporter that's going to buff fire element. It's going to buff ultimate. It's going to buff burst. It's going to provide a shield and a healing. And she is also HP spec'd. Now, right away should tell you, start building the proper set for her, right? So right away that screams noble. So you're going to start building a noble set, of course, right over here. Make sure it's HP based, and you're going to be putting in towards the summoning for Liu. Now, speaking of Liu, he's going to be in the draws for the custom draws next patch. So you definitely want to make sure you have some of these black tickets left to summon more copies of him, or your first copy if you're just joining, so you guys compare the two together. And with that being said, I want to just quickly say my own folly. When Gina first came out, which is the existing fire elemental supporter, the one that's been there from almost I think 5 months, 6 months. When she came out, there was no need to go for her. She offered nothing to the game because fire at the time was useless. There was nothing that fire gave to us. The best characters at the time were Yusa Yun, a very dried out version of her, plus Choi. So we know for a fact back then, it was a good skip, right? But then unfortunately, when fire took over with Kanaye's release and Esso's release, Gina played a major role in completing a lot of the content with that team, and I, for the life of me, could not get a copy of her. One thing I've learned playing this game is you don't really ever want to skip support. Supports are probably the number 1, maybe number 2 now because of infusers, but the number 1 rule of thumb here is supports are so important in this game that they're usually not skippable. So I personally skipped Elena, and I'm okay with that. I got 1 copy of her as usual, and then I'm going to be going heavily into Jung because I feel like with Liu being as good as he is, the only thing he really lacked to complete him, and what made Agnes a bit better than him, was the fact that Gina needs to be replaced. So if you're somebody like myself who finally got A10 Gina on free to play, you're going to probably replace her, but don't worry, she's still going to be viable in Guild Boss. You always need 2 supports anyway. So for those who are thinking, do I summon for Jung or should I summon for Agnes? My suggestion, this is just my recommendation, guys. Remember, this is not word of law. This is just my own analysis of the way I see things, is that if you have Liu and you want to complete the Liu team, Jung is supposed to be built for him. Now, I say the word supposed to be because back in the day, they also built another support here in Akari, which was supposed to be the perfect combination to Thomas, and she was complete ass. So there could be a possibility, a very small possibility, that we get another Akari situation and we all waste our tickets. So please, before you summon, and obviously, take this word, take this video to heart. Let me do my testing. Let us do our testing and let you guys see the results of what happens when you have Gina versus Jung in the team and how much of a difference those two make, and then you can decide on your own what's the best course of action for you. All right, guys, that's what I want to cover in this case. They are in the lobby, so go check them out. Awesome looking, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the support buttons. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.